What's good? What's up? How you doing today? I'm sitting here with my best friend Monie. How you doing, girl?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing, girl? I'm good. Hey.
Hey y'all. Hey y'all. What's up? It's another episode of Love Loud's Truth Carpet. I cannot believe that we are on episode 16.
16, episode 16.
Yes, girl. How you doing, Monie?
You and this dancing. I'm doing well. I'm super, super, super excited to record this episode. Aside from the fact that it's episode 16, but anytime I get to see your face, it's a good day.
Aw, I love you too. How do you feel about today's episode?
The conversations need to be had just to gain some understanding, because let me tell you, baby, I be confused. And I just want to understand for myself exactly what it all means.
Ooh, it's getting spicy because I know the audience want to know what the heck we're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to podcast episode 16, where Moni and I will be discussing the different types of dating and intimate relationships that people have.
Yes.
This is about to get hot. You see, I took my hoodie off.
Right, you already hot.
I am getting so hot.
You had to take your hoodie off.
Hey. All right, y'all. We really appreciate you tuning in to our episode today. Moni, go ahead and give the people a nice breakdown.
All right, y'all. So y'all already know what it is. This is Truth Carpet episode 16, and I am going to be giving you the rundown for this episode. First and foremost, as always, we're going to be starting with dorm stories, but we have a question today. Opposed to giving y'all a rundown memory lane, we have a special question in regards to what we would or would not do in committed relationships. Next up is Suite 223, where Yaya and I will be reciting a combined poem that we wrote together. We usually do this individually, but you all have a special treat for today's episode. And our hot topic segment, we are talking about the different types of romantic relationships that people are involved in and discussing whether or not we would be involved in these types of relationships. Next up today, we're going to be closing out with our announcements. There's always something for everyone, so make sure you do not miss out on the things that we have for you at the end of this episode. All right, girl. You ready to jump into dorm stories?
I am ready to jump right into it.
Let's get it.
Okay, so for our dorm story today, we have a question from Ace Metaphors deck of cards. The question is, what is your opinion on threesomes in a committed relationship? Go ahead, Moni.
No. That's my opinion on threesomes in committed relationships, because I'm not into women.
She said no.
No, I'm not into women. I feel like if I was bisexual, then maybe that's something that I would be into. But because I'm not into women and I have no interest in being with two men, I don't condone a threesome in my relationship. Now, I can't speak on what other folks want to do, because folks gonna live their lives how they want to live it. But for me, if my man asks, I'm telling him in spells what? No. I have no interest. But like, if we were to do that, I wouldn't be involved. What am I do? Watch? I don't want to be with her.
I laughed because that was a straight up no into the
What about you? What would you do? What's your opinion?
My opinion, my answer to everything is to each his own. I'm gonna be honest. I have wondered about having a threesome in a relationship, but when it came down to planning it, so my boyfriend at that time was going to like find somebody to have this relations with, right?
Yeah.
But when it came down to like really getting serious about it, I backed out because I didn't feel comfortable with him choosing the person without me. And I felt like, and I assumed that if he knew the person, that meant that they already had some kind of relationship with one another, or he already saw the person as being like a sexual option for him. Or if she was from his hometown, then when he was there, they might be getting it on without my consent or without me being there. So that was younger. So at that younger age, I didn't understand that they were like, you can set rules and boundaries and define how you want it to be. It can be your own kind of thing. But at that time, I was just like, nah, like,
But you
nah.
almost did though. You was close. You considered it, and then it really came down to it. And he was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I know what I said before, but I'm changing my mind. Yo, it's
yeah.
funny that you mentioned that because I read a book once. I can't remember. It was called Mistress Diaries, My Mistress Wife. It was something about a mistress, but it's basically about this woman who is having an affair with another woman after she chose to have a threesome with her husband after he asked a bunch of times, had a
Hmm.
threesome for his birthday, but she kept seeing the woman after they had that encounter. It was a good book. I gotta find it and tell the
Yeah.
name of it. I'm gonna have to post it on our IG page so people could read it for themselves. It was a good book. It was a
That
really
would be
good book. I'm
good.
pretty sure it's called My Wife's Mistress. Mistress something. There's mistress in the title. I'm gonna figure it out and we're gonna put it on our page so y'all know what the book is. But it reminds me,
So
the story reminds me of that.
yeah, so what happened to them is what I was afraid of, but the opposite. I mean, that could have happened. It could have been that I was more interested in a woman and then we did our own thing on the side, but just like the fear of, just the worry of like, yo, like what does he have going on with her kind of thing, or I don't know. I backed out. I reneged. Yep, I reneged. But I'm gonna be honest, I do sometimes think of it, but I do think like if that were me to be a part of it, I can't see myself. Like I can see him doing stuff to her and then him doing stuff to me, but me doing stuff to the girl, she could do stuff to me. I don't know, but I can't see me doing stuff to her. I just can't. So what's my opinion? To each his own. You never know until you try, basically.
Right, you never
You never
know.
know
But
until,
as
but have I
what I'm
tried? I've never
saying,
tried.
I'm still saying no. In a committed relationship, now if the relationship is open, that's a whole nother story. But
That's a
we can
hot
talk about that later.
topic. That's a hot topic. That's a hot topic with a club beat. That's a bump,
Hey,
bump, bump, bump.
hey,
That's the
hey,
bump,
hey,
bump,
hey,
bump,
hey.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. We both had different opinions on this. I feel like we usually
Are similar,
coincide with
right?
one another. Yeah. But that's cute. That's cute, That's cute or whatever. Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely. All right, darling. Are you ready to mosey on over to Suite 223?
I'm ready.
She's ready, y'all. So I think we should go ahead and head over. Okay, in today's segment of Suite 223, Yaya and I will be reciting Untitled, written by the both of us. It's a collaboration, y'all. Enjoy.
Untitled. Scrolling through our pictures, rereading old texts, listening to our favorite songs, Lauryn Hill, Keith Sweat, reminiscing about our dates, an upgrade from Netflix and chill, thoughts of you teasing my body, a romantic thrill, everlasting memories on a dome, more data than a cloud can bear, fidgeting with my phone. Should I call? Should I text? Fuck it. I just want you near. Sweet sensations of your aroma invade my nostrils as I prance around in your polo. Slow dancing, candles lit, even though right now I'm solo. Sleeping alone in my king size, TV on mute, gazing over at your side. All I'm wanting is you. Fiending for your touch, needing you to rock me back to sleep. Something about this urge, this feeling, it refuses to be discreet.
As much as I want to keep quiet, I can't help but want to ask, where are we going? What are we doing? Will this even last? Every time I'm with you, I feel amazing. That's why I've stuck around this long. Breakfast in bed, late night talks, texting back and forth love songs. Thunderous sounds from outside awake me from my dream. This has to be the Twilight Zone. Shit between us ain't really what it seems. How can I feel so good and used at the same time? Because you're not ready for what I have to offer. Everything you say sounds good, but then you switch up, disappear, only leaving me to wonder. Your actions speak louder than words. You don't need to say anything else. If you really want to be with me, you would make the time. No excuses, no regrets. Feeling stuck and confused. Trying to get you off my mind, holding back from texting and liking your pictures, having some more me time. Coming to the conclusion that what we have is flatlining. Detaching from my emotions, I'm moving forward. No rewinding. Yes, yes,
Yes, sis.
yes. I love our
I like
collaborations.
that. So, typical question of
Right.
Love Loud. Speak 223. I guess I'll answer first. At this time that we wrote this poem, I remember I was substitute teaching at that time, and we were trying to like come up with another poem to add to this book, and it was just a poem that kind of flowed for me. I didn't have a muse at that time. I wasn't dating anybody at that time. I had an interest, but there was nobody who like this was a story that I was telling. It was just a story that I was like visualizing in my head. Once I started with the first few lines of it, it just started coming about because I tend to make up things and like can see like a movie playing in my head and I just started writing it down. But sometimes I stop and I'm like, dang, I need something that rhyme right here. Let me look up Webster. Let me get some synonyms real quick. But there was no muse for this. It was just I knew that you and I wanted to use some songs or something like about dating and love kind of thing like that. That kind of sparked what I came up with. Like that's what I would want to do. Be at my boo's house, walking around with his polo on, smelling the aroma of him, having the candles lit, nice atmosphere. That's what I would want, and that's what I wrote about.
I think for me, just based off the understanding of what the poem was supposed to be about, with the title Untitled, being in these situationships or dating somebody and not putting a title on it and having an open relationship of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I got it from. Some of the inspiration came from being with my ex and being in a situation of like, okay, I've been with this person, but now all of a sudden this person seems different than what they were before. What's changed? Why does it seem different? The two of us don't seem to have the same connection that we did before. Am I tripping? Like if things have changed, let me know what's different. And then I also partially took
Let me know.
I also partially took inspiration from a guy that I had been talking to for a couple months, and I at one point wanted to know like could he see himself like dating or being in a relationship with me, and he basically said just to like go with the flow. And
A lot
I'm
of
like
people
I
say that,
get
John.
it, but could you just answer the question? If the answer is no, then the answer is no. You can tell me no. If you wanted to see where things go, like just go with the flow. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for that response. I very much appreciate it. But just me at that time just telling me to go with the flow, that didn't make any sense to me because what is the flow? You trying to do relationship things but don't want to be in a relationship. I don't have time for that. That's why I'm asking. Like, what is this? You wanna
Right.
come over, you wanna
And
spend the
I
night, you want a meal cooked. What is that? No. What is this? If we going
it's
with the
cute.
right, it's cute. You wanna go with the flow, but I'm not about to keep doing these things in this particular relationship, whatever it may be, because I don't want to do it no more. So what is this? It's untitled. We have no title, and I'm not doing these things anymore.
Right. And I think that's a perfect segue for what we're about to get into because I just feel like with this poem, a lot of people don't want to. Girl, remember the thing that you sent me last night when the guy was putting his clothes on in the reel, and she was like, So you about to go or whatever. I just feel like we keep doing it. So what
Oh,
are
and then he disappeared. What are we? He was like, I'm gone.
what are we? Like people don't want to put definitions or titles
Which is
on
fine.
things. And I think and it's fine. It is fine. And that's what we are about to segue into right about now.
What are we
Meow.
segueing into exactly?
Hot topic.
Yes.
Okay, y'all. Episode 16 brings to you the topic of different types of relationships. So, Monie and I are going to get into the different types of relationships that we basically had to research. We are not gurus on this topic, we are not experts on this topic, but it's something that we felt like we wanted to touch on. And is it okay if I say this, Monie? Earlier this year, I found myself I did the air quotes, talking to, the whole phases of dating relationships, this guy, and he threw out the idea of thruples, right? And I was like, what the heck is a thruple? So this is where we're getting into, like, what are the different types of relationships that exist out there? And we oftentimes, as Americans, we know monogamy. That's what we see. That's what's portrayed on television all of the time. But there are different types of relationships that exist. So this is our hot topic today. We hope that you have your wine. I have my Riesling, and we are about to get into it right now.
Wait.
So let's start it off.
Before we get to it, I must say, like, in regards to doing research to this, I definitely found myself going down several different rabbit holes. Like, okay, so they have this relationship and they have these rules and they do it this way, and they have their relationship is similar to that one, but they have their rules and they do it this way. And then I have what I know, and it's not necessarily any rules. This is just the relationship. So
that's the way it is.
Join us down this rabbit hole of things that we have found, and let us know if y'all agree, disagree. We'd love to know.
And let me add to that, it's been really intriguing too. Like the research that we have found, the YouTube videos, everything that we've come across has been very interesting. And I appreciate everybody who recorded these YouTube videos, let us into their relationships and let us come across the information that we have found, because it's just like, wow.
Right.
Like I like thank you for sharing this. I never knew.
Exactly.
Because I only saw and I only understood monogamy because that's all I viewed. But sorry, I'm kind of getting into it a little bit. My bad. So let's go back a little bit, and we're gonna start it off with the common thing: monogamy/couples. What is monogamy? Let me tell you, girl. Monogamy is the practice or state of being married to one person at a time, or it's the practice or state of having a sexual relationship with only one partner. So you're only having one partner at a time. In a dating relationship, like, oh, that's my boo, that's my babe, that's my boyfriend, that's my girlfriend, is only one. Or legally, you're only partnered or married with one person at a time. That's monogamy.
Yes, it is.
But
Thank you.
so let me ask you a question, Monie. Are you a monogamous dater?
I want to say yes, but I haven't really dated like that in a while, I guess, because as I've said before on this show, I've only ever been in one relationship. And at that time, I would have considered myself a monogamous dater because I was only seeing that one person. But I feel as of now, in regards to dating, I'll most definitely not be monogamous until I decided with that person that that's what I wanted to do. I feel it's important to date, multiple people to see what you like and what you don't like, opposed to giving your all into this one person. And then somewhere down the line, you're like, nah, I'm not feeling this no more. 5 months done gone by. Now you're going on to trying to find the next person. When during all those 5 months, you could have been talking to 3 people. And one of those 3 people could have been the one that had a lasting relationship. I don't know if that's just my thoughts on it now. So as of today, getting back into the dating pool, quote unquote, I would not consider myself a monogamous dater unless me and one person solely decided, like, yes, this is what we're going to do. I'm with you, you with me. It's just us.
I like how you use the word now, because I feel like we have been researching this for a little over a week. And just like I told you, once we finish recording, I'm about to hop back on YouTube and finish watching, because there's just so much information to grasp, to like take in.
Right.
So for my answer, prior to us looking this stuff up, I did. Like, if someone asked me, yeah, are you a monogamous? Yes, like wholeheartedly, I will tell you hands down, I'm not sharing nobody. I just see myself with one person, point blank, period. Cool. I only see myself dating one person. But at this point, I can't put a title on it.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say that I'm a monogamous person, because, like I said, to each his own, or you don't know until you try. I never tried to have any type of other thing except for monogamy. When I did have my little 2 boyfriends or whatever, it was just that one person. But let me jump into the next question that I have for you, which is, do you feel like your views of monogamy was inspired by what you witnessed? Like, remember when we were talking about, when we were getting into this episode, I said a lot of views, or I feel like a lot of views come from maybe your parents. You only saw your parents together. You didn't have a home where there was 2 moms and 1 dad, or one mom, 1 dad, and 5 other women that were his wives. You didn't see polygamy. All you saw was monogamy. Even on television, how many shows do you see with polygamy? I can say none. So for me, I do feel like, living in America, my views of monogamy, or my views of dating, what dating is, means 1 man, 1 wife, and that's what I got my stance from. Would you agree or disagree for yourself?
I would definitely agree, because that's what I grew up around. That's what I knew. I feel as if I grew up in an environment where my parents were in a polygamous situation, then that's something that would probably be ideal to me in regards to what I would choose to do in my adult life. Because I think it also comes from this concept of telling young women, I think more particularly like young African American women in our community, like telling us to, in regards to like going to school and dating, to just focus on school and to focus on our career, opposed to actually focusing on dating, opposed to being able or being encouraged to do both. Finding ourselves, understanding what we like and what we don't like, as well as getting our education. Because I can't remember the exact statistic at the moment, but most people find their mate or the person that they want to be with during their college years. And if we're focused on, solely focused on school and not dating and getting an understanding of our likes and dislikes, then it's kind of like we miss our window. We miss our window to find that the person that we should, quote unquote, have found in, our early to mid 20s, if that makes sense. So it's in combination with having that like embedded in me, as well as how I grew up and the relationships that I had around me. I didn't know anything about polygamous anything. It was a man, a woman, you get married, you have kids.
That's
it.
During our episode with Katrina, when we talked about religion and stuff, I did share that my grandfather, I think I did share that my grandfather had several wives. So I know this to be true, but firsthand, I only saw it, maybe, if I did see it, for a couple of years. I didn't really see it like in front of me, but I know that I have knowledge that he did have several wives. But to experience it, like, I feel like a lot of examples that we get comes from TV. It comes from firsthand, like our own parents, and I didn't receive that. So me opening myself and opening my mind to the idea of other types of relationships is coming off of me and you having a conversation about just being interested in learning about it.
I do have a question though. Like, do you think that monogamy implies having ownership over another person?
From my understanding, okay, so remember, Christian background but spiritual belief, right? From my understanding of it, it sounds like it. It does sound like it when a woman and a man, or a man and man, woman and woman become married, the husband or the superior partner, or it doesn't matter, both parties become one, right?
Mm.
And it does sound like, from my understanding of it, let's just use heterosexual, because I'm a heterosexual, so I understand for myself, right? So if I were to marry a man, he makes all the sound decisions. He's seen as the head of the household. My body becomes his, and his body becomes mine. It does sound like ownership. Like, I don't know who's one up in a relationship or anything like that, but it does sound like mine, 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 like a little baby. All they know is mine, mine, mine. It does sound like a ownership kind of thing, because if somebody else was to come into a picture, like if he was to flirt with somebody, I would go over there like, why you flirting with my man? That's my man. Like, just saying my, it's possession.
Yeah.
It's ownership. So anything with thinking like I have all rights to you, you belong to me, that's ownership. If you get money, that's our money. Like, he went to work to go earn those coins, but it's our money. That's me taking possession of, quote unquote, something that his name is written on. He signed that contract to have that job.
Technically, yes, it does sound like ownership using the term my, like my husband, my wife. But at the same time, I feel like it's more so agreeing to be committed to one another, opposed to feeling as if like you own me or I own you. Of course, what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. But I don't feel like it's technically like ownership. You don't own a person. You know what I'm saying? I feel that, you know, in a marriage type relationship, of course you'll check in with your wife or your husband to ensure that, you know, do's and don'ts of things, you know, just making sure that they're comfortable. But I don't know, I think that term ownership is a turn off. Like, you don't own me, I'm not property. Like, ownership makes it seem like it's property, you know, and like you're not free to be your own person, if that makes sense. Because I feel like in
It makes sense.
some form or fashion, even in marriages, based off the marriages, those that I know that are married, and from the example that I've seen from growing up, you still have some sense of yourself. You don't do everything together. There's some things that you do on your own.
Right.
One may love to go on vacations while the other one chooses to like go on, you know, fishing trips. Like, they have their things that they do on their own, and they have their things when they come together. It's not always just us, 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 us. But, you know, you I don't know. I feel like the ownership part just takes away
No,
the individuality of still being your own person.
I absolutely hear everything that you're saying, and I don't disagree with anything. I just feel that, first of all, I feel like it's important when you have any type of relationship with somebody, it's important to have your own individuality. It's important that if Yaya came into the relationship knowing that she's an artist, knowing that she loves to spend time with friends, knowing that she writes poems, whatever. I got a lot going on. I can't even think of it right now because it's, was it Riesling? But nah, I'm good. And then I'm dating Ted, who is more of a homebody, and he likes to watch sports. And I don't watch sports, but then if I get married to him and I cut off my social life to spend time with Ted in a house just watching sports all the time, I lost myself in that. I would never want to lose myself in any type of relationship. But as far as, just like the example that I used, when a threat comes, and the threat being another woman or another man, or the guy going to another state or another country for a job opportunity, I'm hearing Nemo in my head, like the fish saying, mine, 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 mine. That's what I hear when you ask me the question. I hear that kind of ownership. Like, you can't legally make a decision without me.
Mm-hmm.
We make decisions together. There's no more individuality in that frame unless we define our relationship of monogamy together. But with monogamy, it's only those parts, not as far as like another girl or another man trying to come into that relationship.
Right, because I think so too. Like, in regards to being in that relationship, you are a representation in a way of who you're with.
Yes, you're
It's
representing
right. It's almost
me.
like my mom used to tell me, like, when you go somewhere, you better act right, because I'm a reflection of her. Like, who raised you? I raised you, so you make sure you go out there and act like you're supposed to act. I feel like that same thing applies in regards to being in a relationship. I'm going out and just doing my thing and showing my ass. like I'm not in no relationship with nobody. I'm just acting like I'm single. That's disrespectful towards my husband.
And then it comes off like that's not friends or family or associates, whoever know that you are with Kwame. I had to make up a guy name. They don't see, oh, that's Monie having a good time at the club with Yaya and Priscilla. They see, oh my God, look at Kwame's wife shaking that ass at the party on Timothy right now. Let me take a picture. Let me text him right now. Is that not an example of ownership? You're not free having fun at the party by yourself, living your life. And that's something that you normally do. But somebody else is reporting back to Kwame that you at the club with Priscilla and Yaya shaking that ass
because
on another guy.
it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful.
Yeah, it is disrespectful if you agree to be in a monogamous relationship.
Exactly,
Or
because
any
you
kind of
agreed to be
relationship.
committed, and you're not doing committed things. So get your
Well, the other
committed
ones are
butt off
committed
that
too.
uncommitted man and go back to your committed husband.
Yeah. Well, but you specifically with this one, you committed to be only with Kwame.
Exactly.
Or Kwame, what did I call him? Something.
Kwame. That's what you were saying.
For monogamy, our scenario is basically what we see because monogamy is something that is typical for the US. Is legalized. That's what we know in America. So let's jump into the next type of relationship.
Which is
polygamy.
Polygamy.
I feel like I had to say that multiple times because polygamy means multi. Anthropologically, polygamy is defined as marriage between one person and two or more spouses simultaneously. It exists in two main forms. It can be polygyny or polyandry. Polygyny is when one man is married to several wives or several women. Polyandry is where one woman is married to several men. With polygyny, that's legal in 58 out of nearly 200 sovereign states, the vast majority of them being Muslim majority countries in either Africa or Asia. Now, when you have polyandry, meaning one woman has several men or several husbands, that's illegally virtually in every country. So with polygamy, it was outlawed in federal territories by the Edmunds Act, and there are laws against the practice in all 50 states, as well as the District of Columbia, Guam, and Puerto Rico. So that's why I'm saying we're talking about monogamy. That's all we have. That's all that's seen as legal in America. So let's discuss polygamy between, what we understand, or just between us, girl. Have you ever considered being in a polygamous relationship?
I have not. I've never considered being in a polygamous relationship, only because I've never understood it and it's never been presented to me. When I first heard of it initially, like my thoughts were, I don't want to share. I don't want to.
That's what I tell people all the time. When I talk to dudes, I'm like, I don't share.
Like I don't want to have to. I don't want a sister wife because that's the only term that I knew was sister wife. We share a husband, and he knocking us up, and we having kids, and we all have all these kids in this one house, possibly.
That was your perspective before we did the research,
right? It was a husband, and I'm a wife. She's a wife. Possibly have another wife, and he's
hold up. When you said that, I was like, I'm a wife. She's a wife. She's a wife.
We're all wives.
No disrespect, y'all. That just came to my head when she said that.
That's literally what came to mind, and we just out here popping out babies. So he can have a bunch of kids, and it's just one of him. And if I wanted to be with somebody else, I don't have that option.
Right. Yeah, because that would be let me scroll up to my notes. Polygyny, meaning that he has several wives, but you only have him.
Exactly.
Okay. So for me, I have considered.
Oh, really?
Is this new for you?
This is new for me. Please.
Okay, so when we started off this podcast, I shared that this topic kind of came up because earlier this year, someone introduced to me the idea of being in a throuple. And I did consider it, but that's with me considering it, it was me trying to gain education before I said yes to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was still stuck in that mentality of, I don't want to share. I don't want to share. And then if I did agree to that, that means he already has somebody and I'm coming in. I still have that monogamous mindset of like, I'm coming in as a side chick. Like, I'm not the main one. I'm not his first interest. I'm not his first love kind of thing. So just to answer the question, consideration, just hearing him ask that, like, what do you think about thruples? Would you be interested in thruples? It opened my mind. I didn't tell him no automatically. It was just like, I just thinking of it. I'm not sure, but let me look into it kind of thing. I'm not closed off.
But why did he call it a throuple instead of saying polygamy?
Thruple because it was in that specific situation, it was him and another girl, like his ex that he kept bouncing back and forth to or whatever. So a throuple means three. It's three people having a relationship with one another.
Oh, okay. Another word
Yeah.
to throw in the mix.
Another way. So do you, aside from him, or you don't know him, but personally, do you know any couples that are in throuples?
I don't know of anyone personally that's in a throuple. Only thing that I know
Hmm.
of are couples that are on these dating sites looking for an extra person. Like that's where I was introduced to it. So I've been right
Okay.
and having somebody like, we're already in a relationship and we're looking to add someone to it. And I'm like, what? Like people on dating apps looking for a third person to add to their relationship. And they
Hmm.
actually specify like in the description what type of person they want to add to their relationship,
I appreciate that.
like sexual relations, or like they're actually trying to like build a relationship with a third party.
Yeah. And the reason why I said I appreciate that is because I remember if you read my blog, you would know that I found out that one of my exes was married and I was basically the
Mm-hmm.
mistress. And if he's into that, he's into that. Like he basically don't see monogamy, he sees polygamy, right?
Right.
He wants to introduce somebody else, but it's more of a V, him having his wife and him having me kind of thing. That's what he had, to be point blank, period honest. But I always said when that was like before I knew more about polygamy and everything, I always said when that was going on, dang, at least he could have gave me the option.
Right.
At least he could have told me that he had a wife and asked me if I wanted to be the side chick. But now having all this information, it is now like, dang, he could have at least gave me the option. He could have at least let me know that he had a wife and asked me if I wanted to be the other person and that V kind of relationship that he had. So kind of just the understanding of it has changed, has kind of helped my perspective of
Mm-hmm.
everything. But do I know anybody who legitimately says I am polygamous or I'm in open relationship, a throuple, anything like that? No, I do not know anybody personally. So my next question for you would be, would you say that polygamy is having free range to define your own relationship?
See, I feel like when it comes to this word polygamy, people be playing around with the word because based off the definition of what polygamy is, you are supposed to be married. Granted, it's illegal in the United States, but people could change their last names to make it work. And the man is technically only married to one woman. But I feel as if
Mm-hmm.
people throw the word polygamy around when they're technically in an open relationship. Like they'll be with it'll be me in a relationship with a guy and I'm saying that that's my boyfriend, but aside from that I'm also in a relationship with this chick and I'm calling her my girlfriend. Is that really polygamy, or am I just dating two
Mm-hmm.
people? Like,
You're dating two
exactly.
people. You're not married, you said, right?
Exactly. I'm not married. So technically what that should be categorized as is an open relationship. Plus on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
the guy that I'm dating, he's dating someone else too. So it's almost similar to what's actually going on when you're dating, except you know about the other person that the person's dating. Whether you know them personally or just know of this person that they're dating. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds like an open relationship. So from what I've been seeing, it just seems as if like the word polygamy is just being thrown around because people want to be in relationship with multiple people. That's the understanding that I've been getting from it. I feel like the word polygamy has changed. They've been calling it modern polygamy.
To answer this question, monogamy is monogamy, polygamy is polygamy, right? I feel like a lot of people who I know, who I witness, like to throw around the term monogamy because it's what's accepted. We don't accept scumbags like we define it, right? We don't accept cheaters. We don't accept quote unquote open relationships like, oh, what is that? You can only marry one. Choose me. It's like a competition. That's how we see it, right? But I feel like if people understood what polygamy is, then there wouldn't be this negative connotation of me wanting to be with, I'm going to use our names as an example like I did the other day. Me and Priscilla is a couple and me and Monie is a couple. Like nobody would look at it that negatively if polygamy was more accepted. It's because we live in this world that only sees monogamy or acceptance of monogamy that, oh yeah, I got 2 girlfriends. Oh no, she cheating. Or like between you and Priscilla, it becomes a battle of who's more important or who gets to win her at the end. No, I love both of y'all. I want both of y'all. And if there's an openness and an honestness in the beginning, would it even be a competition? Would it even be heartbreak or hurt, anything like that? I mean, I know there are complications that comes with it, but just looking at it definition wise, I feel like it does not. It does, yes. Let me look at the question again. It does give free range to define your own type of relationship because monogamy is only one kind of thing. But with polygamy, we get to decide: do we want a triad? Do we want a quad? Do we want to be able to invite other people? Like we get to define what we want our relationship to be for ourselves.
But based on the definition, there is no word for 3 women being together. What's the word for that? You have polygyny and then you have polyandry. There's nothing in there for a group of women, a throuple of women.
It will be polyandry, right?
No, that's a wife with several husbands.
Yeah. All right, let's make up our own words then. Poly loud.
No.
Poly love. But I like in that example, I only use you and Priscilla's name because that's just what came up. Because I love y'all. Y'all my besties. But
I think it would still be considered a throuple. I think that's what it would be. It's a relationship with 3 people.
But yeah, because remember what you said earlier. We're using the poly terms, and as we read off of Wiki or Google, wherever I got those definitions from. Shout out. That means some kind of marriage is going on. Right. So we don't want to get into the married thing because we're not gurus. We ain't your gurus. We are just your people in your ear right now. But yeah, it will be considered an open relationship. Yeah, pretty much.
Because as far as polygamy, based on where I could see the benefits from it, I understand the community aspect of it. Like, okay, you have a man, right? And let's say he has 3 wives, right? Each wife brings something different to the table. You have this wife who may be, good in finances. She's good with money or something of that nature. This wife, she's super creative. And then you have another wife. Maybe she's the homebody. I don't know. She's the homemaker. She bakes. She loves making cookies and things of that nature. Just giving random example. But each wife brings something different to the table. Plus, on top of that, each of these wives are able to produce children. I feel like from the perspective of a man having several wives, if he's able to take care of his wives as well as the children they produce, then right on, my brother, do your thing. Because for me to even consider to be in a polygamous relationship, it would have to be, am I getting my own house? Because if the man is supposed to be seen as head of household and he's making sure everything is taken care of, boom, I'm off. I'm all for it. But then there's another aspect of it where it's like some don't do it that way, like the hierarchy of it, having the man at the top and he's taking care of everybody. There's also this community aspect where it's like not only does everybody bring something different to the table, but everybody's still working. So they think of it as we have this extra amount of income, this combined amount of income, like a way to build generational wealth. So it goes towards all the children. It takes a village to raise a child. So
it does.
There's like the children have 3 moms. They have 3 different types of moms they can get advice from. Like have 3 women helping to take care of house and home. That's where I can sort of see like this benefit of it. But then there's also a part of me that's like, could that work as polyandry? That doesn't make sense, especially if those men want to have children. She can't have 3 kids at one time. She can only have 1 child at one time. You got to carry that child for 9 months. And then on top of that, I'm like, as polyandry with the woman having these several wives, she taking care of all these men? I don't want to take care of all the men. Is that how it's working? Or is it the same thing as far as like building this community? Only thing is there'll be less children because there's only one woman bringing.
Unless you have sextuplets.
Or something like that. But at the same time, if she's the breadwinner taking care of these men, how's she still doing that with having 6 babies? Who taking care of the babies? The men? All the men taking care of the babies? I don't know.
So that's the unique thing of it, right? That when you have let's use open because we don't want to talk too much about marriage. So if you have an open relationship or a relationship that you're defining it on your own term and it's not monogamous, I would like to think that basically what I said to you earlier when we were off air, I like saying off air. If I have that, I would want to be the first person. Like me and him start off as just us 2, right? And then maybe sometime down the line we talk about, okay, let's just open this up. But whatever order it goes in, whoever's first or whoever has the couple thing going first, that needs to be established first before you introduce somebody else. I need to make sure that even if I'm not the first one, that she's well taken care of, because that's an example of what you got from me too. And then when I come in, there needs to be, okay, let me get balanced. I can make sure I can take care of Monie and Yaya. Example, because you said you don't want the people named Monie. But anyway, example, okay, I took care of Monie, now I'm adding Yaya. Okay, now I got it covered. I'm juggling. I got Monie and Yaya. I'm doing good. All right, let's add in Priscilla. All right, here we go. 3 of them. All right, let's add in Courtney. All right. Let's add in Raven. All right. I got it. I'm juggling. But make sure you can take care of them. And that's the main aspect. You cannot be adding people into your livelihood if you cannot support them as the breadwinner, whether it's the woman or the man who's on top of the hierarchy. If you have that kind of relationship, where's the hierarchy? You have to make sure that you're taking care of your village. If you cannot sustain that, then you cannot add extra people to it. And for me, I will feel that same way. If you can't make me feel like we're equal, don't add me to that. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm just a third wheel or just an extra. I want it to be some equalness, like, some kind of fair game. And what you said about having your own house, that goes back to each his own. So like the example that I watched, when they were doing the radio interview, there's a guy, right? And he was married to a woman for a long time. I don't even know. I know they had a 16-year-old child and basically teenage children. And they were like, the relationship started to get rocky. He stepped out, but did he really step out? From a monogamous point of view, he stepped out and found the shorty on the side. He ended up telling his wife about it, like, hey, I started to talk to this girl on the side. Because that's typically in monogamous relationships what happened. Me and Timothy, we dating. Things start to go sour. Timothy signs up for Hinge or a dating app, or he goes to a party and meets Shorty. But he don't tell me about Shorty. He just make me think, I think that things are rocking. We still trying to figure it out. But meanwhile, he's texting and hanging out with this girl. So that's basically what happened with them. So then he ended up telling the wife, hey, I met this girl, whatever. I've been kicking it with her. She's kind of cool. She kind of reminds me of you. She's great, blah, blah, blah. So instead of the wife saying, oh, no, you cheating, F you, I want a divorce, or you need to leave her, whatever she could have said, she decided that, okay, you like her, whatever, I want to meet her. They met. They hit it off. They had a great time. They connected. And now they live this poly lifestyle. And since she was spending a lot of time in their home, the wife in that situation decided, hey, you spend a lot of time here, you may as well move in. So they share one same house. They sleep in the same bedroom, sleep in the same bed. There's no triangle or hierarchy. They all are equal. One is a wife, one is a girlfriend, because they do live in the United States of America, where it's not like seen as polygamy. I mean, polygamous relationships are not accepted, but they are talking about having babies with the other woman. And you can decide if you want to close that or open it. So right now, their specific relationship is closed, meaning they're not introducing or inviting any other women or any other men into their relationship. But if they decide that they do want to, like if one of the ladies went out and found another man or found another woman and said, hey, we want to bring them in, then they will have to have a discussion about that and decide together if they want to introduce that. But for them specifically, they live together. Now, you can decide if you choose to live this poly lifestyle or open relationship lifestyle. You can decide for yourself what that means for you. So, yeah, we together, but I have my own house. Or, yeah, we together, but you dating him, I'm dating him, but we're not dating each other.
See, I was with it until I heard that they all sleep in the same bed. I barely like sleeping in the bed with a second person. I can't imagine sleeping in the bed with a third person. I like my space. Like, I mean, but I guess if that, but like you said, to each his own. If that's what they want to do, then that's what they choose to do. But I also feel as if at some point, if they plan on having children with the other woman, they're gonna have to make more space. I don't know how big their house is right now, but at some time you're gonna have to expand. You're gonna need more space for more children, more rooms.
But like you said earlier, so for this example, they do all work. So the husband smiled really hard. He was like, yo, with her coming in, it did help us financially, because that meant that less of the bills was on my wife. And him as a man, he said that they split some of the bills, but he takes more ownership of the bills. So maybe it's like he takes 50% and the other wives take 25%, 25% kind of thing. But it still was less of a burden for their household because everyone was working. So you have to define what it is for yourself, like I said earlier.
I mean, I guess so. You free range to define their own relationship.
The one thing that I did want to say, though, is I know when talking about throuples or open relationships and stuff like that in general, people put their noses up to it, right? But when we talk about menage a trois, threesome, thing like that, it's like, yeah, get that. Yes, kudos to you, my G, or whoever it is that you're talking to. Like, yes, you had that threesome, blah, blah, blah. But when we talk about open relationships or swingers or things like that, it's frowned upon.
But see, here's my thing real quick. As far as open relationships, technically that's what you're in when you're dating, when you don't define whatever it is that you're in. And for some, it feels like you're being cheated on when you find out that the person that you're dating is also dating someone else and they didn't tell you. But I'm like, if you never define that, hey, this is a monogamous relationship, it's technically open. No matter how attached you may think you are, that person has free range to talk to whoever they want to talk to until y'all mutually make a decision to be monogamous. There was one relationship, I'm pretty sure, I think you watched the video too, where the couple decided to be in an open relationship, but they were sexually monogamous. So they were only having sex with one another, but they were openly dating other people. And that relationship had started based off the fact that someone from her past had came and she wanted to explore what that relationship was. And he pretty much gave her permission to, see where that relationship could go while still dating him, which made their relationship open.
The reason why I said I love that relationship is because there's more honesty from my perspective. There's more honesty. There doesn't seem to be any secrets or anything like that. Like specifically with that couple, she said, I don't look at his DMs. I don't look at his text messages. He's a free man. Whatever he wants to do, he's going to do it. But I trust that he comes to me and says these things to me and says, yes, I started to talk to another woman, or I'm interested in going on a date with this other woman. Yeah, there's jealousy. They said that. There's jealousy. I do feel, quote unquote, some type of way. thinking that he may or she may be pounding cake by another person that's not me. But at the end of the day, that person has free will. We're not married. That person has free will, free range to be with somebody else. And this brings me to thinking about just talking with my mom or talking with one of my girlfriends, and she said that her mom told her, we spend so much time dating, keyword emphasis on dating one person at a time. And it goes nowhere. It never became more than a thing. It's just somebody that you're spending time with, talking on the phone with, maybe going out here and there with, but it never became a boyfriend. Or if it did, maybe a few months or a year. And then you got to start all over. Like you grieve and then you start all over with dating again. Opposed to I'm dating I'm getting to know 5 people at a time. And then I narrow it down to typically US speaking, one person. But what happens in the instance that I decide I can't choose one? I love 3 of them. I want to be with 3 of them. Then it comes to having an open discussion about that. And I love that because with monogamy, I feel like I don't want to hurt that other person. It's only quote unquote supposed to be him, or it's only supposed to be her. So I'm gonna let her think that, but I'm gonna still do my slick thing on the side. And you feel bad about it because you put that definition or that label of monogamy on it, opposed to just saying and being honest, I wanna date you and these other people too.
Right, but you know what? Some people don't like that. Some people truly choose to be monogamous because they can't handle that the person that they're with being with somebody else. It doesn't matter if they honest or not. Like, hey, I'm talking to you and I'm talking to Shorty over there. She'll be like, no. But he's being honest.
So I'm actively on a dating site right now, and I don't know. I'm gonna honestly say it's because of our research that I had the cojones to text this guy and say, "Hey, how many people are you dating right now?" And he took some minutes to answer me, but he told me, "Yeah, he's dating one." That doesn't include me because we haven't gone on a date. I don't see myself dating him. We just matched. We happen to match, but that opened up for honest conversation. Okay, now I know that you're dating another person. Now, prior to when I thought monogamy, it does come into an aspect of it's competition. Dang, I know he's dating another woman. I gotta one up. I gotta make sure I look good, make sure I sound good, make sure I'm, you know, checking in on him enough so that I could win him over and he could choose me over her. Opposed to, okay, we just do the thing. And if he choose her, he choose her. If he choose me, he choose me. He choose both of us. And that'll be a conversation that we have to see if we.
That's why I feel like it's important to be yourself, opposed to thinking of it as like a competition. You're gonna do what you got to do, regardless. So it's just a matter of what do you bring to the table. How does your personality win him over, opposed to you trying to be extra because you figure somebody else is in the picture and you want to do better than her. I can't think of it like that. I'm going to do me and I'm going to be me, regardless if I know he dates somebody else or not. I can't make him choose me. So either you want me or you don't.
Point blank period. Yeah. It's like, I'm just thinking of lions, like a lioness, just like the proud competition or fighting over somebody or whatever. But even with the lions, like I remember I was talking to my mom, I was like, yo, like the kingdom, there's one Mufasa, right? Simba's mom and then all these other women, but they all lived with Mufasa.
And what was they popping out? The cubs. He was in that thing getting it in. They was popping so he can have his tribe.
But we only knew about Simba's mom, so she probably was like the top of the hierarchy. And the other woman, like she probably, and if they lived in America, she was legally married, right? For polygamy. She was legally married. The other women, lions, were a part of the nation, a part of I don't want to say sister wives, a part of the union that they have, the community. They all work together. When Nyla and Simba went off to the far lands or whatever it's called that they went, both Nyla's mom and Simba's mom were checking each other's kids. They worked as a community to raise everybody, to look out for everybody. Even Rafiki and everybody cared for everybody. It was a village raising all of the kids together.
Right.
But you only saw one man lion except for the uncle. But you only see like one main lion. I don't know why we like this. I wonder what said this. Because too, like, so I was watching the podcast that you sent me yesterday. Is it a podcast? With Monique and her husband. somebody jumped in their comment section and was saying, well, the Bible says, and the Bible says, and the Bible says. Like, people throw that out a lot. The Bible does say things like that hints towards one man, one woman. But the Bible also mentions, and I want to throw this out there. I'm not a guru. I'm not a specialist. I don't study theology or anything, but I do know there was some scriptures that said that this person and his wives, they had several wives back then too. So who's to say who's right and who's to say who's wrong? And it's just weird because, like we said earlier, the United States, legally, you cannot have a polygamous relationship, but we're a Christian nation. So that's why I say to each his own.
To each his own.
Okay, so our next up, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but let's just get these definitions off. Open relationships / swingers. What are they? Open relationships include any type of romantic relationship that is open. An open relationship is where one or more parties have permission to be romantically or sexually involved with people outside of the relationship. Swingers are couples or singles who choose to have an open relationship, allowing their partners to have sex with other people, with their permission, of course. The benefits are they oftentimes create lasting friendships with others of the opposite sex while enjoying sexual pleasures from them as well. That's a lot.
It really is. And you already know my opinion on this. It seemed like it's the same freaking thing, except one's married and one's not.
So the question that we drew from this is, what the heck is the difference between this? So I feel like we touched on this earlier when talking about thruples, polygamy, stuff like that. That's what an open relationship is, unless, from our understanding, we're not gurus, remember. That's what that is. But with polygamy, there's marriage involved. With open relationship, that's dating, getting to know people without any type of marriage involved. Like, nobody's married, no titles, title or anything. But open relationship means like there's some kind of commitment, right? There are at least one or two people who have a committed relationship with one another, romantically or sexually. Remember, romance does not mean that somebody's getting some kind of intercourse going on, but it can be romantic or sexually. Now, swingers means sex. Me and Timothy are together, and we have the open possibility of Timothy can go ahead and have sex with other people. Yaya can go ahead and have sex with other people, or we together have sex with other people together. But there's no commitment. Like, that's not, that other girl or that other guy is not his boo or bae. The other girl or guy is not my boo or bae. And party-wise, it's not. We may be friends, we may be acquainted, but we're not in a relationship together. Only if we're in an open relationship, we're together, but swingers-wise, it's just sex. That's my
You say have sex together. You talking about like an orgy? Like this orgy style, like all four of us is in the room and we having sex together. Or it's like, yes, I'm married to my husband and you married to your husband, but sometimes you have sex with my husband and I have sex with yours. Is that swinging?
It's all of that. It's all of that. No. We're not laughing at it. We're laughing with it. It's all of it.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot. That's real open. They swing it to the left, swing it to the right, swing it to the front, swing it to the
front, swing it to the back, swing.
Woo! Oh my God. Okay. All right.
Okay, so you understand the gist of it, right? All right. So open means commitment, right? Swinging means sex. Okay. Do you think open relationships and swingers are frowned upon?
Yes, I do.
That was quick.
But I think it's frowned upon because it's not what's quote unquote normal. Because it's not something that we're used to. But once again, to each his own. That's what they choose to do, then that's what they choose to do. If it's not for you, then it's not for you. And something when people choose to do it don't need to be explained as long as they understand it and why they're doing it. You know, more power to them. I know myself personally, I can't see myself swinging at all. Once I'm married, I'm married. I'm married. I can't see myself being with the person I took vows with and us deciding, all right, babe, you ready to hit up this little swing dig. And then we like, after party, we having drinks, we have a little dinner, and then by the end of the night, we all naked. I don't even know if that's how swinger parties work. That's just the image that I have in my mind. Like, friends meet up for dinner, wine, drinks, or whatever, and then by the end of the night, go time.
It's more than that.
It's more than that. What is this? What is this?
All right, let me answer the question first, and then let me share some insight that you may or may not know about your best friend. Dun, 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 dun. So for my answer, yes. Open relationships and swingers are frowned upon based off of what we said earlier. We meaning Americans, accept monogamy, and we don't accept people having open relationships because we look at it as cheating or being unfaithful or not being able to decide, or if there is more, one has more love, or one has more say or hierarchy than the other one. So it is frowned upon. As far as what swingers are, how it gets down, that's another to each his own. Like, there's no specific answer to it. So it can be Johnny and Becky and Timothy and Mallory. They know that they like to swing, so they set up their own parties with one another, and they have sexual parties or hangouts with one another. Or Mallory and Valerie might just get together, and Timothy and the other guy that I made up might get together. It can be however they define it, however they want it to be. But there are swinger groups. And when I say swinger groups, there are places out there or organizations out there that get together and they invite swingers or unicorns to participate in a party.
What's a unicorn?
The unicorn that comes into the party is a single person.
Okay.
So that person comes into the party and they don't have a significant other. They just come in. So they might just be that couple's third wheel. But everybody knows that everybody's either coming to that party to engage in intercourse with one another or to watch. So it's like basically like live
I was just
porn.
about to say, people just go to watch other people have sex.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. Okay.
So a little foreclosure. So I have gone to a party.
A swinger party? A sex party?
Yeah.
What?
It was so interesting.
Oh,
so I went there. I went there as a unicorn, and I just went there just to observe. So what I witnessed was that it was hosted at this place, right? The specific place was a hotel. And there were couples there, there were unicorns there, everything, just having a good time, dancing around. But then when you went upstairs to where the hotel rooms were, some doors were open and some doors were closed. If the doors were closed, that means that they don't want people to come in to the room. But if the door was open, like the main door of the hotel, if the door was open, you could come in. People were like partying, just quote unquote regular, right? But if you looked into the bedroom or wherever else, people were like having sex with one another. And I did see where it was two couples together, and they were like, it was four people, but they were like having sex. So one guy was having sex with another woman's wife, the other wife, etc., etc. Or I saw where like there was a couple, and then there's the third person. Yeah, I saw it all. They had a room with sex toys and like what's the name of that book? 50 Shades. It was 50 Shades.
They had a whole dominatrix room.
They had a room where they were like showing toys, like the whole thing, like straps and stuff like that, and a whole bunch of stuff. But then in the other rooms, it was just basically like hotel rooms. And if you were to rent out a room, like if you were to book a room, you could decorate it however you wanted to. Like, it's your room. But then if you had it open, you wanted people to come in and party or have sex. And if they wanted it closed, because remember earlier we were talking about closed relationships, open relationships. So if you wanted it closed and you said, oh, we only want to invite one extra person, door closed. Or we don't want people to watch, door closed. Or sometimes they had it where like, we don't want you involved, but you can watch, kind of thing. It was a lot going on. Oof. And honestly, it was interesting. I was invited to participate with other people, but I didn't take the opportunity.
Oh my goodness, girl! The thought of alone. See, I can't. I'm stuttering. I can't. Like I can't imagine. Like you telling me, and I'm trying to paint my own picture in my head, and I'm just like, oh wow, okay. It's just that's you're just walking by, and they just doing their thing. You're like, okay, oh. Nice butt cheeks. Next room.
It's not like a walking by thing, like because you go
the sex museum.
You have to tell yourself, yeah, but you telling yourself like I'm literally walking into room 228. And then it wasn't like the bedroom right there. It was a lot of them were suites. So you walk into the quote unquote living room of it, but you have to like say, I want to see and look into the bedroom part of it. So it wasn't like they were just like boom boom banging in the hallways and stuff. They were like in the bedrooms, but you had to say, I want to go see what's popping in this room. I want to go see what's popping in that room. So if you decided that you wanted to see stuff, you saw it. If you decided that you didn't want to, or if the door was closed, you didn't see it. But then they would come up to you because it's a swingers party, so they will come up to you and say, hey, we got this room. If you want to come, you can come up there. That's them inviting you. I didn't go, but what I did find interesting in it is at this swingers party and outside of it, because I did witness a couple trying to hit on an associate of mine. It seems like a lot of times when they're trying to bring a woman into it, swingers lifestyle only, not talking about open relationships or anything like that. They have the woman go to try to invite the other person into it. So if it's a woman, they say, oh, she's kind of cute or whatever, go see, what's she about. And then the woman goes to try to flirt with the woman and see if they want to invite her. That's what I've witnessed. I've never seen a man go over and invite.
The only thing that keeps running in my mind is just the exchange of energy. Like when you have sex with somebody, like I can't imagine like just having sex with multiple people. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But just that thought alone is just a turn off, to be having sex with a whole bunch of people and the exchanging of that sexual energy.
Sexual energy, sexual body fluid, sexual STDs, STIs, all of that. And
they don't use protection?
When we go, oh, no, girl, you can.
Oh.
But you never know. That's only 99.99%.
That is
true. You never know what can happen in that 1.11111%. So that's why that couple that we favored, they said, yeah, we're polygamous. We have an open relationship. Well, now they call it free. We have a free relationship, but we are monogamously sexually dealing with one another because it's a lot that comes with it. Like if you are monogamous, you want to be careful because, quote unquote, you don't know what he doing or what she doing on the side.
Right.
Right. But if you are open or free or polygamous, whatever it is, there's still some caution there because there's other parties involved. So the way I think of it is polygamy or open relationships are already happening. It's just the secrecy of it and the not secrecy of it too. But when you're swinging, you definitely have to be careful and use protection, get tested often because you never know what you're inviting into your body.
Exactly.
So that first question was about swinging, about it being frowned upon and things like that. Do you think it's possible to love more than one person at a time?
Yeah, absolutely. I love more than one person every day. Now, as far as me like saying I'm in love with more than one person, I don't know. I've never had that experience, but definitely to love more than one person, absolutely. That's how I love my friends. Everyone has different qualities and things that I enjoy about them, and the things that we have in common, and the things that we talk about. I connect with one person more on one thing than I do with another about something else. So absolutely, you can definitely love more than one person at a time. It's just a matter of what part of me they get, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. When I like to answer off of what I experienced, and I have never experienced being in love with somebody. Because for me, when I define what it means to be in love, it means both of us loving one another. Like the simplicity of it is we both have to at least love one another at the same time, simultaneously. And from my knowledge of it, I've never experienced that. So I never went deeper than that. But I do think it's possible to love or be in love with more than one person at one time. I can't say if there's an equal balance to it or if there's like, I love this person more than the other person, or it could be, just like you said, I love this person for these reasons and these qualities. Then I love that person for these reasons and these qualities. And the girl that I said I was going to go back to YouTube and finish watching, she said, both parties together make her feel like she's whole. I see what she meant by that, but for me, I don't want to say that because kind of tapping back into what we spoke about with Katrina during our religion episode, I want to be whole before I come into any type of relationship. I don't want to feel like one person or 10 people are making me feel whole. I want to come whole before, because even when she said that, when the girl on the YouTube was saying that, I was just like, So what if, because she has a girlfriend and a boyfriend, what if the girlfriend passes away? Then you're going to feel less whole because one of those persons that's making you feel whole is gone.
Right.
So it's important, whatever lifestyle you choose, whatever type of relationship you choose for yourself, that you feel whole before you jump into anything. But going back to the question, yes, I do feel like it's possible, but I have not experienced it for myself.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's two wholes coming together to create an entirely new reality, not two halves trying to become one. Because there's still going to be a lot that you need to mend within that. Like you still have probably a lot of traumas that you haven't dealt with, or any like trust issues that you're still growing through, and you haven't fully learned how to transition through your emotions and love yourself fully before trying to love someone else. So it definitely should be two wholes coming to create a new reality together, opposed to trying to mend these two broken pieces that may not even fit.
Right. I did have a follow-up question, but I think we kind of answered it. It was asking if you think that the love is divided equally. But I think that taps into the thing that we just kept repeating, to each his own, or you never know until you're in a situation.
Right. Or just giving certain parts of yourselves to certain people. Because sometimes you don't share everything with everyone. You might be like my travel buddy. Like you are the person I know too, that when we travel, these are the experiences that we share together. And then this person over here, you know what, this is my my book buddy. Like we share experiences through books. Those are just probably some lame examples, but just saying like different parts of myself is what I share with different people. Like this is my historical history side. Like we get into a bunch of like history buff stuff because everybody's different and they can open up and transform different parts of you.
So one of these episodes that I watched, it was a girl who defined herself as monogamous interviewing her friend who didn't put a definition on anything. And she said that was one of the problems that we have, is that we try to define everything. And if you do have a relationship and you call that person your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever, and that person goes on and finds a new friend, you're going to feel some type of way because you're thinking, oh, well, he's spending time with this person. What's going on there? Things like that. And it could just be his friend or his coworker or anything like that. So it doesn't matter how you define anything. And that goes back into the question that you asked me earlier. Is there any kind of ownership when you're monogamous with somebody? That person thinks, oh, why is she spending all the time with my boyfriend? She want him or something? No, she don't want him. They're just friends. She got her own boo or whatever. They're just friends. So it doesn't matter how you define anything. It could be a coworker, it could be a friend, it could be a family member. This person outside of you is still going to have some type of relationships with other people.
Right. It also be an insecurity.
Yeah. So some people think like, I'm not going to define it. Like, it's just open because we're not married. For her point, we're not married. So this person, it's possible they could find somebody else that they're interested or they like. Who am I to say that they can't date them? And if we do get married and we decide that we still want to do that, that's up to us. Who is society to decide that we have to have this, opposed to the law that says you can only be legally bind to one person. But outside of that, I can do my own thing.
Right.
And just like I kind of hinted towards earlier, it's where I kind of got the perspective from her, is that we only say it's cheating because of the monogamous mindset of it. But I do want to highlight that us having this conversation does not mean that if you are having open relationships, swinging relationships, polygamy, however you want to define it, it does not mean that it doesn't come with its troubles or its struggles as well. Everything comes with something.
Right.
But you have to define your relationship how you want to, not just try to think outside of the box of what society says is normal.
What works for you?
What works for you? Bow, bow, bow. So let's jump into our next part, which is our announcement.
It's time for announcements. It's time for announcements. It's time for announcements. It's time for announcements.
Yes, Jingle. I want to sing with you, but I know because of the delay, I might be off. Yeah. But I'm singing with you in spirit.
Yes.
All right. So for the month of December, our question of the month is asking, What is your favorite holiday movie?
Yes.
I know mine. Monie has an idea of hers. We, of course, will be sharing our answers, our responses on our YouTube page. So if you so kindly answer on our website or on our RG page, you will be automatically entered for a chance to win both Love Loud Volume 1 and Love Loud Volume 2. Those are our babies, our books. If you are a Love Loud member, we typically enter you twice, but because we are in the spirit of giving, y'all, it's the time of the year, we are going to enter you in there thrice.
Yes, 3 times.
We're going to enter you in there thrice. Thruplish.
Put you in there thruple times.
Go ahead. We already posted it once on December 1st. So if you are listening now and you have not entered or answered on our page, go ahead and answer the question of the month.
Don't forget, you have to be a member. If you want to be entered 3 times, just go to the website and sign up. You can sign up via Facebook and sign up via Google, or you can sign up by entering whatever email address you would like to use. But you have to go to the website right at the top and sign up, y'all. Sign up to be a member and be entered 3 times and answer in the group section for the question of the month. Next announcement is please, pretty please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Love Loud, LOVELOUDD, to make sure that you can find us. If it's not 2 D's, then most likely it is not us. On our YouTube channel, you'll be able to find the answers to all of our questions of the month, as well as our blogs. Every time we post a blog, we have a video about it. Plus, on top of that, we have all of our Truth Carpet episodes, including the ones where we started on IGTV. So just in case you're not listening on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, you can also listen on YouTube. Y'all have no excuse as to why you can't share Truth Carpet with anybody. There's so many outlets to take a listen, so share it with any and everybody. Let them know that Love Loud is here.
And speaking of us being here, I'm so happy that we decided to get these beautiful mics that sound nice. Check 1.
Check 2.
To record these podcasts. It's been a great venture, and it's been really fun. We had 3 guests for our first season?
We had 3 guests and can't wait for many more.
Guests. Right, we had 16 episodes. We started on IG Live, and now we are here in your ears, giving you a different platform to listen to us and to witness us having these conversations. And this is our last episode for 2020.
Yes.
For season 1, and we will be picking back up next year for season 2. I just want to say that this episode right here, and I feel like I say this all the time, but genuinely, like, even when we first started, I was like, yo, this is dope. I felt really good having this conversation. Outside of this podcast, I don't even know if you and I would have had this conversation. So it really felt good to have this conversation, and I really like it because a lot of other topics people may have on the daily, but just to have a different conversation like this, or the different conversation of religion and relationships, the different things that we bring to our Truth Carpet is really nice. And I can't wait to listen back to this, to be honest. I enjoyed it. I really did.
I would like to extend a very special thank you to all of you who are listening now, who've been listening since the beginning, for those of you that share our episodes, for those of you that have given input and feedback on our episodes, that have bought our merch. Thank y'all for riding with us. We very, very, very much appreciate y'all. Without y'all giving us the push and motivation, who knows if we would have actually even started this podcast, to be honest.
Right.
We were definitely pushed in this direction, and we very much appreciate being here and having you all allow us to embrace your speakers, so to speak, okay? I've definitely come to enjoy doing this. Can't wait to start season 2. I've been educating myself on audio engineering and editing. So hopefully by next season, the sound will be even better than it is now. Because if you haven't noticed, like, the sound has started to grow and get gradually better. I'm learning as I go. And with this process that we've been in has definitely been a learning one for both of us. So thank you, everybody, Thank you so much.
Yes, and I definitely need a shirt that says producer yay. I said that earlier.
Yes.
But this really has been a growing experience. It's been an enjoyable experience. And I can't wait for us to tap into season 2 and invite some other guests to just do this all with us. Because like we say, we're not gurus, we're not experts, but it'll be really fun to invite other experts and gurus to have these conversations with us. It just makes it more fun, and I'm learning a lot. So yeah, thank you. Just like Monie said, I'm not going to repeat it. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts to everybody who has been supporting Love Loud in every type of way.
So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. I said so long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. It's been great to play and sing together
on the podcast.
And it's time to say goodbye. my sound effect. I was trying to get it in there.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Until season 2.